Hello, David Zaretsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Okay, as you can see by the thumbnail, these are the top 7 alternate endings that people have talked about around No Time to Die. Yes, I am back in GoldenEye. You could probably tell by my surrounding. I am at the Lagoon Villa, enjoying Lagoon life again. I feel like I never left. That's what I feel like. But today I'm going to be talking about some of these. Now, I have to be very transparent. None of these are mine. I've borrowed them from other people. Some of them have been actually rumors because there were rumors out there that there were alternate endings filmed. So we're going to be talking about some of those. But these are the top 7, 007. And I've got this wonderful papaya drink that Danielle has made me that I'll be sipping on. But okay, so the first one that I thought was really creative. Number 1. Having a nebulous ending. In other words, not knowing if Bond was truly dead. So you see everything happen just the way it happened. But at the end, imagine if you will, Madeline and Mathilde, after she says, I want to tell you about Bond, James Bond, they're driving a little bit more and they come upon the house in Norway. And Madeline opens the door, Mathilde runs in, and sitting on the counter is Doo-Doo. A little bit of bloodstain, but Doo-Doo's sitting there. Now, the SIS training gear came up with this idea. I thought it was absolutely genius. And then boom, then it goes to black. So basically, you know that if Doo-Doo wasn't destroyed, I just love saying that, if Doo-Doo wasn't destroyed, it's James Bond truly will return. Maybe he's not with them, but of course, if nanobots inhabit Doo-Doo, then they're all dead. So, there's problems with that, right? The other one, which was a very specific rumor that came from pretty decent resources, was the whole Dark Knight idea. What is this? So imagine, if you will, the movie happened exactly like it did, maybe a little less incineration and explosion. So you don't know if Bond is dead. Flash to a couple months later with Mathilde and Madeline playing in a park. And then literally they show just a little bit of pan up of a pair of trousers and then a blue polo and then the side of a face and aviators just like Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, and boom, to black. So this way it is the Dark Knight. It's almost like he's observing them from afar. Problems obviously with that, with the way they set it up, because anybody he comes in contact with, he could kill them because of the nanobots. Although I guess with the watch he could have used it to destroy nanobots if it had an EMP, since they're nanobots. Anyway, don't get me started, please. Third one that I thought was interesting that had been discussed, number 3, is the Dr. No theory. There was a lot of Dr. No theories going around. He gets shot on his, where our hearts would be, but as we know, Dr. No in the book has a heart. It's one of the few people, like 1 in a million, that has it on the right side, setting it up as Dr. No. And suddenly, if you will, Safin is Dr. No. In fact, in the film, one of the henchmen calls him Doctor. So I think that they were going to call him Dr. No. I know this is not a unique theory. A lot of people have been talking about this. But what they talked about is, could there be an alternate ending where instead of Bond dying, it's literally the transition to the very first film. So Safin doesn't die, Bond doesn't die, and instead you have it basically transfer to Dr. No. So it's bookends. No Time to Die and Dr. No are bookends of films. Flip it, and it's No Time to Die goes into Dr. No. So they have the first parts of that film coming to bear. I know it's a bit of a push. That one I don't think would hold water. I love this next one because it's very nostalgic. It's very Bond. Imagine if they went back to tradition. Number 4, the Dinghy theory. Yes, many of Sean Connery's, if not all of his, films end with a girl and a dinghy. I kid you not. He's in a boat with a beautiful woman. So imagine if they went back to the traditional aspect of this with Daniel Craig, where at the end of the film, the missiles come, but Madeline, Mathilde, and Bond escape in a dinghy together. So it still has that family aspect. He's still in a boat with 2 women, one very young and one still very young. And they're going off into the sunset and it's a celebratory moment. I like that. I think it's a real nod to nostalgia. That was never going to happen in the Daniel Craig era, though. No, it just wouldn't. I mean, they'll go back to nostalgia and play On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but they'll only go so far. All right. Number 5, the code name theory. Now, this has been a theory with a lot of people that 007, in fact, James Bond is just a code name, that it can be inhabited by other people. So at the end, there was a discussion of, will the producers of the film actually pass on the James Bond code name, not just 007, because that's just a number, as we heard Nomi say, but could the code name of James Bond be another individual? And this is how they usher in the new actor, that the James Bond comes into the fray. To me, this would have been a huge mistake. This would have been like Doctor Who, where you give it to a new actor and a new person every few years. So I think it cheapens the moment, and it takes our 25 Bond movie queue and messes with it way too much. So I would put thumbs down for that. This one I like, though. So there was a discussion. Now, this is a theory. This is like the Daniel Craig Dark Knight one, that they were going to do something very akin to You Only Live Twice, the book. They were going to have like Shatterhand. They were going to have a Blofeld moment, and they were going to do more with the Poison Garden. And it makes a lot of sense, because in the movie, they talk a lot about the Poison Garden, right? There's a lot of discussion of Safin and his father and the garden, and they do nothing with it. On the cutting room floor, could there have been more scenes with the Poison Garden? Could Safin have been killed into the Poison Garden, some sort of ruckus that goes on? And then Bond has a hero's welcome. So instead of him being blown up, it's a celebratory, more traditional ending where he has a hero's welcome. Now, they filmed Daniel Craig with a bunch of honor guards. I think they're called honor guards. Someone will correct me in the comments, I promise. In London, we know that scene was filmed, but we never saw it. So could he have come home in a celebratory way, celebrated? And the only way someone gets celebrated by the guard and by the Queen in MI6 is if they're going into retirement. They don't get celebrated when they're active duty. So this is his final retirement. He's out, he's open, it's public, and he has to retire. And he actually has a happy ending. Imagine that. Probably not going to happen in this era, and didn't. And the very last one, which I thought was very unique, goes back to the idea of a nebulous ending, meaning you don't know what happened to Bond. So at the end of the movie, explosions go off. They're back at MI6. They're drinking to Bond. And then you see Mathilde and Madeleine, and she goes into the tunnel. She says, I want to tell you about Bond, James Bond. Flashback to Q, walking in to Q branch. And up on the monitor, where they had the smart blood, remember they had all the smart blood readouts and stuff? Because they didn't do anything with the smart blood. They set up all that smart blood conversation and then nothing with it. Suddenly, you see the flat line of the smart blood, because you see that in the movie, suddenly go beep, beep. Now, in this version, they couldn't have had Bond incinerated. I mean, he's dust right now. So they'd have to have, maybe the building falling in when the missiles hit, or something a little bit more nebulous, because he got cremated. I don't know if you noticed. So for this smart blood little like beep at the end to work, but that would have been just chilling. And then they literally could have been like, James Bond will return. Amazing stuff. Those are the top 7 theories and discussions that I've heard that I absolutely love. Some of them hold more weight than others. Some of them would have been a lot of fun and very celebratory. They're just fun. They're just for us to talk about and play with, because we got the ending that we did. And, it's an excellent movie with an ending that didn't connect with everybody. And that's, listen, if it's a movie that made you think and made you consider and think about 7 different theories like I just did, that's a pretty powerful movie. Anyway, thought I'd give you this. Well, since I came all the way to GoldenEye to do this video, I might as well stay and have a drink and relax. So I'll leave you back to it. This has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.